One minute I was sipping coffee on my porch, the next it was gone. A bulldozer roared through the wall, splintering the cabin I'd poured my heart into. I stood there, frozen, as chunks of cedar rained into the yard. They called it procedure. 3 bulldozers, no warning, just destruction. I thought this kind of thing only happened in wild online tales, but there I was, staring at the wreckage of my sanctuary. The fines, the threats, the secret meetings I wasn't invited to piled up fast. It didn't feel random. It felt like someone wanted me gone, and they wouldn't stop until I broke. I'm a retired cop, 38 years old, spent 15 years chasing crooks in Seattle. I thought I'd escaped the chaos when I inherited my uncle's 2-acre plot on the edge of Tacoma, Washington. It was just scrubland with a few pines, but it was mine. I built that cabin 800 square feet, a stone fireplace, a small porch myself, every nail driven with care, my dog Rusty by my side, chasing rabbits or napping in the shade. Those evenings, with a beer in hand and the fire crackling, were the first time in years I felt peace. But peace doesn't last when someone's got a target on your back. It started 2 weeks after I finished the cabin in the summer of 2024. I came home from a brutal shift, still shaking off the city's noise, and found a thick envelope jammed in my door. I thought it was junk mail, maybe a tax notice. Nope. It was from the Pineview Community Association, a name that meant nothing to me. Inside was a 50-page rulebook, paint colors, grass height, even what kind of chairs I could put outside. They wanted $1,500 a year for community enhancement. I laughed, thinking it was some bored busybody's pet project. Then the first violation notice hit. My grass was too tall at 2.8 inches, just under their 3-inch limit, with a $75 daily fine. I measured it myself, half expecting it was a prank. 3 days later, another notice. My cabin's natural wood finish wasn't on their approved palette. They demanded I paint it some soulless beige, $150 a day until I did. That's when it clicked, this wasn't a mistake. Someone was coming for me. I'm a cop. I know how to dig. A quick search showed Washington HOAs can slap liens on your property for unpaid fines, meaning they could force a sale if I didn't play ball. The Pineview president, Evelyn Carter, was 55, impeccably dressed, and had ruled the HOA like her personal fiefdom for 7 years. Online forums buzzed with stories of families driven out by her relentless fines. She wasn't just enforcing rules, she was waging war. I wrote her a letter, calmly asking what legal authority she had to enforce these violations. Big mistake. Instead of answers, she sent a final notice. Pay $2,200 in 10 days, or they'd lien my property. My pen snapped in my hand when I read it. That night, I pored over deeds, bylaws, anything I could find. Evelyn was breaking the law, selectively enforcing rules to bully people into submission. A neighbor, George Willis, a 65-year-old retired electrician, tipped me off about others who'd been forced to sell. This wasn't random. It was a pattern. I decided to fight fire with fire. At the next HOA meeting in a stuffy Tacoma community center, I walked in with a folder of evidence. Evelyn sat at the front, all smiles and tailored suits, but her eyes went cold when I stood up. Ms. Carter, I said, keeping my voice steady. Can you explain how your selective enforcement complies with Washington state law? For 20 minutes, I laid out her violations, double standards, illegal fines, harassment. The room went silent. Board members started asking for copies of my research. Evelyn's composure cracked, her voice sharp as she snapped. You're tearing apart everything we've built. But the homeowners were done with her. As we left, George whispered, you're not the first she's targeted, but you might be the last. Evelyn didn't back down, she went nuclear. The morning after the meeting, I got a call from George, his voice shaking. Mike, get to your place now. They've got bulldozers. I sped over, heart pounding, and found my cabin being torn apart. Wood splintered, metal groaned, and there was Evelyn, watching from her SUV, filming it like some sick trophy. Rusty howled, trying to run into the wreckage. I had to drag him back, his confusion breaking my heart. This wasn't just property damage, it was psychological warfare. Evelyn handed me a court order claiming my cabin violated permits. I'd seen enough fakes in my career to know it was bunk. You're bluffing, she sneered, but I was already on the phone with my old partner, Sarah Nguyen, a financial crime specialist. You still got that file on HOA fraud? I've got something big. While the bulldozer finished its work, I photographed everything: the wreckage, Evelyn's car, her smug face. Sarah confirmed the court order was fraudulent, built on lies about permit violations and safety hazards. Evelyn had committed a felony. I wasn't just fighting for my cabin anymore. I was taking down a criminal. Sarah and I dug deeper, uncovering a real estate scheme that made my blood run cold. Evelyn was using the HOA to target homeowners, force them to sell cheap, then flip their properties through shell companies for millions. My land was the final piece in a massive development deal with a shady developer, Richard Hayes. Emails between them called my cabin the last obstacle to a multi-million-dollar project. She wasn't just a bully, she was running a criminal empire. We set up a sting. I called Evelyn, playing the broken homeowner, asking to meet at a Tacoma coffee shop to work things out. Wired up with a hidden recorder, I sat across from her as she bragged about her vision for Pineview. "Mike, you don't see the big picture," she said, sipping her latte. "Richard and I are building something special. Your cabin didn't fit." She admitted to millions in profits, even hinted at accidents for those who didn't comply. Every word was gold for the DA. Sarah, listening from a van outside, texted me, "We've got her." The next morning, July 17th, 2024, Tacoma police raided Evelyn's home, the HOA office, and Hayes' company. They found emails, financial records, and proof of a scheme spanning 5 HOAs in Washington. Evelyn was arrested in her silk pajamas, trying to shred evidence. Hayes tried to cut a deal, but the evidence was airtight. The media exploded. Headlines screamed about a $1 million HOA fraud ring exposed by an off-duty cop. The community ousted the HOA board, and George stepped up as interim president, scrapping all fines. Evelyn's trial was a slaughter. My testimony, the coffee shop recording, and 15 victim families' stories buried her. She took the stand, claiming she was just protecting the community, but the jury saw through her lies. After 3 hours of deliberation, they found her guilty of conspiracy, fraud, money laundering, and intimidation. She got 18 years, Hayes 14. Victims, including me, split $2.5 million in restitution. I rebuilt my cabin, bigger, stronger, with a new porch where Rusty and I could sit again. In January 2025, I started the Thompson Foundation to help families fight HOA abuse. Our first system, first case in Oregon got national attention, sparking HOA reform laws. Sitting on that porch now, with Rusty snoring beside me, I sip my coffee and stare at the empty chair across the table. It's quiet, the kind of quiet you earn by fighting monsters like Evelyn. But I wonder, what would you do if someone tried to bulldoze your life? Would you fight like hell or walk away? How far would you go to protect what's yours? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this hit home, and subscribe for more stories of battles worth fighting. I'll be here, coffee in hand, waiting to hear from you.